My name's Jake Reynolds, 36, and I'm the kind of guy who keeps to himself. I fix things, I build things, and after 2 decades of working my butt off in construction, I finally bought my dream house in the quiet suburbs just outside Asheville, North Carolina. It had everything: big backyard, open skies, space for a workshop. But what the realtor didn't emphasize was the fine print. This paradise came with an HOA, a small one. Friendly and non-invasive, they said. They lied. I hadn't even unpacked my boxes before I started hearing the name Karen. Real name, Beverly Kramer, but nobody used it. She was the HOA president, neighborhood watchdog, and full-time busybody. Blonde bob, haircut, clipboard in hand, always walking around like she was running for sheriff. The first time I met her, I was trimming hedges out front. She walked right up and said, "Greater than? We encourage residents to use approved landscaping services. Yours looks uneven. Not hello, not welcome, just passive-aggressive judgment wrapped in a smile." I laughed it off. Big mistake. I spent the next few months flying under the radar. I paid my dues, I waved politely, and I avoided eye contact when I saw Karen doing her daily patrols. But things changed when I decided to put up a privacy fence. My lot backed up to a greenbelt, lovely, sure, but I didn't want joggers looking into my backyard while I grilled steak in my slippers. So I built a 6-foot cedar fence, all by code, beautiful craftsmanship, and as a contractor I knew the rules cold. I even submitted the required HOA approval request and heard nothing. According to North Carolina statute, silence after 30 days equals automatic approval. So I built it. 2 days later, knock, 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 I opened the door to find Karen standing there, fuming. She had a measuring tape in one hand, a clipboard in the other, and a phone already recording. "Greater than, this fence violates HOA visual standards and greenbelt access rules," she said. "It must be removed. If not, we'll be issuing a $3,000 0 cents fine and starting the eviction process if necessary." Eviction. Over a fence. I actually laughed. "You're kidding, right? It's legal. You had 30 days to respond." But she wasn't kidding. "Greater than, you may think you're clever, Mr. Reynolds," she hissed, "but this is a community and we expect compliance." That's when I knew. This wasn't about fences, this was about control. So I decided to fight back, but not with anger, with research. I spent the next week digging into property records, HOA bylaws, and county permitting systems. And oh boy, Karen had secrets. Her own fence built 2 feet over the property line, her back deck never permitted, and built over a storm drainage easement. She also had a shed sitting squarely on HOA-maintained land, which meant technically she was trespassing on her own HOA. I gathered documents, screenshots, satellite images. I even pulled up old HOA newsletters where she bragged about DIY weekend projects. Then I filed 2 anonymous complaints. One to the County Code Enforcement Office. 2, one to the HOA board marked urgent. 2 weeks later, I saw a county truck pull up in front of Karen's house. I grabbed popcorn. The inspector walked the perimeter with a wheel measure. Karen followed him, red-faced, flailing her arms. You could hear her 3 houses away. "I've lived here for 17 years. This is outrageous." A few days later, boom, $7,500, 0 cents in fines. Mandatory deck teardown, shed relocation permit violations. But that wasn't even the best part. Turns out, the rest of the HOA board had already been looking for a reason to oust her. They were tired of her antics, but no one wanted to confront her until they had hard proof. My file gave them just that. At the next HOA meeting, packed with neighbors for once, they voted to remove Karen as president. 3 people clapped. 1 guy brought cake. She stormed out of the meeting. I heard she tried to run for re-election. No one seconded the motion. Now, I still have my fence and my privacy. The HOA even updated the rulebook to clearly define fence approval guidelines thanks to community input. Neighbors come to me now when they need help, not just for fences, but for dealing with other HOA nonsense. Fence defender, they call me. I wear the name proudly. Moral of the story? If you're going to bully someone with rules, you better follow them yourself. Karen thought her clipboard made her queen, but the law doesn't care about clipboards. And sometimes the quiet guy with a hammer, he builds more than fences. He builds justice.